Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Cinema Scoop. Be prepared to disagree with this episode because we're going to be talking about controversial movie takes.
Well, I mean, it's not like these things are some of the most controversial I've heard. But
That's true.
Maybe.
Still, a lot of people agree, a lot of people disagree. And my first one, maybe take it with a little grain of salt because I've only seen the movie once, but Oppenheimer was kind of boring. I've only seen it once, so maybe I'll rewatch it again. Maybe I'll give it a second chance. But when I saw it in the movie theater, I'm pretty sure I may have fallen asleep.
Wow.
I know. I wasn't really following it. I don't know.
Are you a science person?
Not particularly.
So then maybe that's why. It's a science movie. It's about.
I know, but other science movies with labs and techno battles. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's like people who didn't like Oppenheimer must have only liked Marvel superhero movies.
Well, I'm a big fan of Marvel superhero movies.
He liked it. Yeah, and so am I. I like other movies, but I don't know. I just didn't really like Oppenheimer. There were a few good parts. I saw the first testing was really cool with the fire explosion and that part.
Okay. Yeah.
That part. Yeah. That was a pretty cool part. But overall, it wasn't that engaging to me, and I guess that's okay.
Well, I mean, to each their own. I would suggest watching it again. Getting a better feel for it.
I think I will, honestly.
Good. I mean, nothing quite matches your first watch, but if you really didn't like it, watch it again.
Yeah. All right. Also, so Indiana Jones. I love Indiana Jones. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it. I talked about it during our 80s episode.
Yeah, I talked about it a couple of times.
And the fourth one, which wasn't made in the 80s, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
That's the newest one, right?
They just came out with another new one.
What?
Yeah.
So the new one that came out of another. When did Crystal Skull come out?
Mid 2000s.
Okay, that's not new.
Yeah, but they just came out with a
fifth one, yeah.
Yeah, it was new because the other ones came out in the 80s.
You say new. It's 15 years old. We're probably the same
new compared to the original ones.
Okay.
We don't need to talk about this. It doesn't matter.
Okay, kind of. Okay, fine.
But this one, a lot of people didn't like it. And honestly, I can see why. The CGI wasn't too great, and having it focused on aliens instead of history.
Oh.
I guess Indiana Jones has always been a little it's always had a little fantasy element to it.
Yeah.
So I didn't really mind the aliens, but it just kind of took a different turn from
than the usual.
Yeah, from the usual. But overall, I didn't really mind the story. I kind of like how he had how he had his son in the thing, kind of passing on the torch, even though he ended up not doing that.
Wow.
Didn't trying to set it up only to be not really explored, but I do like the dynamic with his son. The return of Marion was nice. The villain, I mean, honestly, the villains in the Indiana Jones movies aren't usually the most interesting aspect, and in this it was an okay villain compared to others, I'd say. She was a Russian, Cold War.
Yeah.
Because that was going on at the time.
The Cold War was going on during the mid 2000s still.
No, it takes place in the 60s or something.
Okay. So okay.
Yeah, but also the action. I liked the action. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was entertaining. And honestly, still obviously not the best movie in the world. Maybe not even a good movie.
Damn.
But I don't think it's as bad as people say. People are saying that ruined Indiana Jones. I don't think it did.
Ruined Indiana Jones.
It wasn't that bad. Okay.
All right.
Now my last one. Okay, listen. There's always the debate between practical effects and CGI, right?
Hold on. What's the difference?
Good question. So practical effects, that's when it's actually there while they're filming.
Okay.
Practical costumes. They're actually wearing those costumes. while CGI, it's like added in after with the
Effects.
computer.
Okay.
Yeah, and okay, a lot of people like love like practical effects and say they should always be used.
I feel
but
like I agree with that.
I do agree, but I don't think practical effects are always better than CGI because there's definitely cases where CGI is really helpful.
I don't know about that.
Really?
Because certain CGI things I can see, like they don't. You don't really feel it. Like you can tell. Sometimes you can tell that it's CGI, and sometimes you can't. But I feel like practical effects, you could always tell. Like, oh, that's real. It like immersifies you.
Yeah.
It brings you closer to it.
So
rather than,
the main thing that I love about practical effects is probably like small special effects and costumes. Practical costumes are probably like my favorite uses of like practical effects in the modern days because, I mean, it just looks better, you know, because it's actually real. It's actually physically there. I also feel like it helps with the acting because, you know, the actors can like really see what they're talking to, who they're up against with the costumes.
yeah, of course. Back to what I was saying about like immersifying yourself.
Yeah.
It really brings you into it rather than just a whole bunch of green screens or blue screens and then like you just like, I'm not really
Like,
feeling it.
Yeah, with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, all the orcs were done practical, so they actually looked like that. But in The Hobbit, they were done with CGI, and I'd have to say that the practical looks much better. However, CGI does have its place, and I'm very thankful for CGI because we would not have a lot of things without it. Like any big army you see in a movie, modern movie, that's CGI. They used to have to bring in hundreds of thousands of extras just to get like a few shots of a giant army. Now they could just add it in, and paying all those real people, they'd have to get costumes, they'd have to get like equipment, they'd have to pay them just to be there, and it cost a lot of money and time. And with CGI, you can just kind of add in the armies later. Same thing with just like anything like, what should I say, like, you know, like sci-fi or fantasy.
Of course.
A lot of things with like magical like sparks or lasers. Having CGI for that is very, very helpful. It's a lot easier, you know, like for like a scene with a gunfight, you know how like when someone gets hit, like all the blood comes out. They used to actually have that there.
I mean, like a little packet.
Yeah, they'd put a packet and they'd put a little squib. Now they could just add it in after, and I'd say that's a lot easier. And it's like a small thing, so like you're not really gonna notice how real it looks.
Of course.
So that's why I think that CGI has its place, and practical effects aren't always better.
Right.
Yeah, we now that we've heard my hot takes,
Which are, to be honest, a little mid. Like, yeah, not really
okay,
controversial.
okay, that's why it's called controversial movie takes.
Okay.
Let's just we're gonna go to the hallway and interview some other people about this topic.
Yeah, my favorite actor is probably John Candy. He's in my favorite movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So, yeah.
My name is Noah Mullen, and my movie hot take is that Star Trek is the most overrated show.
All right, welcome back. Now that we're back, we're gonna go over to Nick's controversial movie takes.
All right. Now, mine, I would say, are a little bit more controversial than you.
Just a little bit? Okay,
Yeah, just a
let's
little
hear
bit.
it. Let's hear it.
All right. Starting off with, right off the bat, Tom Holland's Spider-Man trilogy. Mid.
Mid? Well, what do you mean by mid?
Like,
everyone's always throwing that term around, but like, what do you mean by mid?
Like, it wasn't exciting. It wasn't, like, as
Was it
impactful.
exciting?
Yeah, like,
As
it didn't
impactful?
really, it didn't really leave much of an impression on me.
Okay.
It wasn't good. It wasn't
Yeah.
bad. It was just, like in the middle.
That's
Mid.
right. The thing that I really liked about the first one was how low the stakes were, because in a lot of modern Marvel movies, you have like world-ending threats, even sometimes like universe or multiverse-ending threats. And in this one, it was just some guy trying to rob Tony Stark, and Spider-Man trying to prove himself, trying to stop it. And I kind of like that, because honestly, the less high the stakes are in these types of movies, I feel like the more suspense it is, because usually if it's like multiverse level threat, we know the multiverse is not going to get destroyed, you know?
You never know.
I mean, in Infinity War, they lost.
Exactly.
That was a shock. But still,
they
I
needed
kind
that
of really
comeback
like
story.
the low stakes.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about the low stakes. I'm just complaining about like the storytelling.
The storytelling? Well,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? Elaborate.
Like again, it just really didn't catch me. Like the action scenes, like they were all right. It could have been so much better, more action, a lot more stuff. They could have done so much more, so much better, but the way they left it off, like
Left what off?
like the ending of the movie.
Which movie? Wait, the first one or the last?
The first one. The first one.
The first
I'm
one?
talking about the first one right now.
I guess you're right, because he didn't like accept the Avengers deal, you know.
Exactly.
But I mean, I guess he did kind of end up accepting it in Infinity War.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going back to what you were saying, the stakes.
Yeah.
The stakes, they went from 0 to 100 real quick. So we went from like a thug that has like good weapons to a city problem, all the way back up to the multiverse.
Yeah.
No
as
Way
the-
Home,
as
like-
the trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of escalated.
They also
Maybe a
escalated-
little too quickly, because you're right. It kind of was like neighborhood to world to multiverse.
Yeah, it wasn't world. It was literally just like London.
I guess so.
Like-
No one cares about London.
Exactly. It's
I know.
yeah. No
Yeah.
one cares. Come on now.
Yeah, I can see that, but honestly, I really liked them. I thought they were done pretty well. Of course, I also kind of liked how it wasn't an origin story, because the previous two remakes of Spider-Man, I love them. Okay, I'm not saying that they're bad, but I kind of like how this one took a different approach and like had him already as Spider-Man, already kind of experienced.
Yeah, but I mean, it would have been nice if he had a little bit of an origin instead of just like his introduction in Civil War, just right out of nowhere. Like
I guess.
we didn't hear.
I mean, we already know, everyone knows Spider-Man.
yeah, okay, but like we
I
could
guess
have.
it still could have been there. you
Yeah,
know?
they could have at least given him like with great power comes great responsibility in the
That's
first
true.
movie. Like they did in the last one. Yeah,
You're right.
but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
All right, so second one, much more of a hotter take to be honest.
All right, let's hear it.
Star Wars, boring. Do you want to leave the set? Yeah. All right. He wants to leave. All right. Understandable. Understandable.
What do you mean?
I mean.
How? Okay, you know what? I was gonna yell at you, but now I'll hear you out. Okay,
Right.
I'll try to calm down. Okay, just
You're right.
explain yourself.
Well, Star Wars, like it's just boring. Like I've seen clips of it. Like I'm not gonna watch the movies.
You've never even seen it.
It looks boring.
You can't say it's boring without ever even seeing it.
I've seen a lot of clips of it. Like I understand what's going on. Like I understand the movie. It's just boring. I'm not gonna
Which
watch
movie?
it.
There's like a billion movies and a billion things.
I think it was the prequels. I saw a lot of clips of the prequels, which are I've heard arguably the best ones.
No, the prequels are water, dude.
Oh.
Except Revenge of the Sith, that's pretty good.
Wow. All right. So what are the good ones?
The good ones, a lot of people agree that the original trilogy, episode 4, 5, and 6, the ones that came out in the 70s and 80s, are the best, or at least most consistent. I get why a lot of people like the prequels now, because when they first came out, and for a long time, a lot of people agreed that they were like really, really bad. But I guess now that all the kids who saw them are growing up now they can like really voice their opinions online. And I mean, when you're a kid, like you don't really
understand.
see like the bad dialogue and cheesy effects. You just see the fun parts. So I guess like now that nostalgia and the opinions, now they get to voice them online. So that's why it's becoming more popular, the prequels nowadays.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
Alright.
anything can beat the original trilogy in terms of like prequels, sequels, and OT.
How about this? I will begin to watch one of the movies. Give me a movie to start watching.
A New Hope, the first one that was made.
All right, A New Hope. I'll watch like 20 minutes of it, and then if I'm interested in it, I'll watch it out. And if I'm not, I'm just gonna stop it right there, and I'm gonna let you
Right.
know
Yeah.
next episode. It was terrible.
Because I
I'll tell
mean,
you.
you say you only seen clips, but like you got to get invested in the characters, and you
Well,
can't do that with just clips, can you?
I can, because you can learn a lot. Like with the certain clips that you can see, you can learn a lot from it.
I guess so, but it doesn't really have the same effect.
I remember a couple of years back, I was talking to one of my friends, and I was so surprised. I'm like, wait, Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader?
Really?
They're like, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Everyone's known that forever.
All right, well, again, I
Yeah.
haven't watched the movies.
All right.
All right. Last hot take. This one I'm much more like adamant about. Miles Morales, Spider-Man.
Uh-huh.
Solo's Peter Parker. I'll say that right now.
Okay, well, what do you mean by solos? Like he beats him in a fight?
Beats him in a fight, low difficulty, low to medium difficulty.
Okay,
this-
but is that really a movie? Did they fight in the movie?
Yes, technically, and across the Spider-Verse, there was a big fight.
But like, was it solo Miles Morales versus solo Peter Parker, just the two of them fighting?
No, it was like...
Well, if they didn't fight in the movie, then how's that a movie take?
Okay, because it's very simple. They did fight in the movies, and Miles Morales beat like hundreds of them. Beat hundreds, maybe thousands of Spider-Man all on his own. Well, not beat. I'd say like more evaded.
Evaded?
Yes. But still, with all of those people, all that experience, Miles just starting out, it's really impressive.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think he could, especially by the second movie. In the first movie, he's not that experienced, so maybe not.
Yeah, but he still beats Kingpin, and when no one else really could. So you know what?
That's true. But I don't disagree. I feel like in the second movie he could, but like they didn't have a one-on-one fight, so like I don't really feel like this is a movie take at all.
You know
honestly.
what? When Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out and Miles and Miguel fight, which I'm hoping they do, I'll come back to this and
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But
All right.
I'm gonna stick with that.
Cool.
Miles Morales solos Peter Parker.
Cool.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully, you guys didn't stop watching because of these takes, but now you could see how. Hold on, cut.
What?
I messed up. I
All
don't
right.
know what I'm saying.
It's okay.
Actually, not
Keep
cut.
going.
Yeah. Hold on. It's gonna be 3, 2, 1. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully, you guys don't stop watching because of these takes, but how could you when we have such amazing reviews and charismatic students like myself and Joe? That's it. Have a good one.
All right, we're good.
Cut.